she trusted him. That was the mistake. Not because he was loud, not because he was violent, but because he never had to be. Because the most dangerous people are the ones who feel familiar, the ones you don't question, the ones who already know your patterns. He didn't threaten her. He didn't raise his voice. He leaned in slightly and said one sentence. And in that moment, everything she believed about him shattered. Her name was Mara. She wasn't reckless. She wasn't careless. And she wasn't someone who chased danger for excitement. If anything, Mara was careful, the kind of careful people often mistake for weakness. She double-checked locks. She reread messages before sending them. She noticed tones in voices most people ignored. That wasn't anxiety. That was survival. Mara had learned early in life that danger rarely announces itself. It arrives politely. It waits to be trusted. That night, she promised herself she wouldn't stay out late. Not because she was afraid, but because she was tired. Tired of conversations that circled nowhere. Tired of explaining herself. Tired of being the person everyone leaned on while she slowly disappeared. Midnight arrived quietly. No dramatic change. No sudden sound. Just the city slipping into that strange in-between state. Not asleep. Not awake. Just holding its breath. The street outside her apartment looked normal, but it didn't feel normal. The air felt heavier. Sound carried farther than it should have. And the silence felt intentional, as if something was listening. Mara noticed that feeling. She just didn't name it. That's when her phone vibrated. One message. "Can we talk, just for a minute?" It was from Ethan. A familiar name. A safe name. Someone she'd known long enough that her mind stopped scanning for danger. She stared at the screen, not in fear, but hesitation. Her instinct stirred. That quiet, internal voice people learn to silence. She told herself she was overthinking. She always did. Nothing about the message felt urgent. Nothing felt threatening. Just familiar. She typed back, "Okay." That was the moment. Not when they met. Not when he spoke. Right there. When she chose familiarity over instinct. They met near her apartment complex, on a bench she'd passed hundreds of times without noticing. Neutral. Public enough to feel safe. Private enough to feel personal. Ethan was already there, sitting still, hands folded loosely, looking almost relieved when he saw her. "Thanks for coming," he said. His voice was calm, steady. It should have reassured her. Instead, something felt slightly misaligned. Not wrong enough to confront, just off enough to register. They talked about small things at first. Work stress, how tired everyone seemed lately, how nights felt longer than they used to. The conversation flowed too easily, like it had been practiced. Ethan laughed at the right moments, nodded when she spoke, held eye contact just long enough. Then suddenly he went quiet. Not awkward quiet, intentional quiet. He looked down at the ground, as if choosing something carefully. Mara felt it then, that subtle tightening in her chest, the feeling she'd spent years learning to ignore. She waited. Ethan looked up. "I knew you wouldn't say no." The sentence landed softly, almost gently, but it didn't feel gentle.
It wasn't gratitude. It wasn't appreciation. It was certainty. Mara felt something fracture inside her. "What do you mean?" she asked. Her voice sounded steadier than she felt. Ethan smiled faintly. "You always show up," he said. "That's why I called." And just like that, everything shifted. She understood instantly. This hadn't been a request. It had been an assumption. She hadn't been invited. She had been expected. And suddenly, she wasn't sure what else he believed he was entitled to. Mara stayed quiet, not frozen, listening. Ethan kept talking about how people reveal themselves when they're tired, how night strips away defenses, how honesty comes easier when you think no one's watching. "You don't even realize how much you give away," he said. Her stomach dropped. That wasn't comfort. That was exposure. He mentioned things she'd never told him directly. Small habits, late-night thoughts, moments she assumed had vanished into the dark. "They mattered to me," he added. "I pay attention." That sentence scared her more than anything else he'd said. Because attention isn't always care. Sometimes it's inventory. Mara realized something terrifying then. Trust doesn't break loudly. It erodes, sentence by sentence, realization by realization. She stood up slowly. "I need to go," she said. No accusation, no explanation. Ethan didn't stop her, didn't argue, didn't follow. He just nodded. "Be safe." The words felt rehearsed, wrong. Before we go further, pause for a moment. Think about how many people in your life know more about you than you realize. How many moments you've shared simply because it felt late, quiet, safe. If stories like this make you think twice, if they stay with you after the screen goes dark, subscribe to Midnight Storytime TV. Some stories don't end when the video does. Mara walked home without turning around. Every step felt heavier. Every sound behind her felt deliberate. When she reached her door, her hands were shaking. She locked it, then locked it again. Inside, the silence pressed in on her. Her phone lit up. A message from Ethan. "Okay, you're all right. I just wanted to talk." But it didn't feel reassuring. It felt like reassurance given without permission, like control disguised as care. She sat on her bed, staring at the wall. Nothing terrible had happened. No shouting, no threat. And yet, she felt exposed. That frightened her more than panic ever could. At 12:58 a.m., her phone vibrated again. Another message. Unknown number. "He shouldn't have said that to you." Her breath stopped. She hadn't told anyone, hadn't typed a word, hadn't spoken out loud. Another message followed. "Did he tell you that you always show up?" Her heart pounded. Who was this? And how much did they see? She didn't reply. The phone vibrated once more. Pay attention to how the night feels right now. Mara looked around her room. The walls felt closer, the silence louder. And for the first time that night, Mara wondered if Ethan had been watching, or if someone else had been listening the entire time. Some stories end when the video stops. This one doesn't. What do you think just happened? Was Ethan crossing a line he never intended to explain? Or was Mara never alone in that conversation at all? Tell me what you think in the comments. Part 2 will change everything. If you want more stories that stay with you long after midnight, subscribe to Midnight Storytime TV. Good night.